The first step in my DIY voiceover audio booth construction project is the sidewalls and roof. The sidewalls and roof are constructed in basically the same way. After cutting all of the pieces to size, we start framing the far side wall using 2x3s. The frames are 2x3s sandwiched by 5/8 plywood. 2x4s would add unnecessary weight and we'd lose 2 inches on the inside of the booth, which was already quite small, constricted by the closet space I'm fitting the booth into. So every inch counts. We could have used 2x2s since we're using 2-inch Roxul Comfort Board 80, but the extra space actually helps diffuse the sound as it passes through the walls. We put the acoustical caulk on each joint and adjoining surface. This stuff is awful! Goopy, sticky black lava that never hardens. It drips everywhere, and throughout the build, you'll put your hand in it 100 times. It doesn't wash off, so you'll be trying to get it off like a dog trying to eat peanut butter. I later found a caulk that was easier to work with. Check out my blog post for this. To the frame, we attached the 5/8 plywood. I highly recommend building this in place since it becomes quite heavy. We took the half-built wall and moved it into the room where I could add insulation. Roxul Comfort Board 80. The insulation was cut with an electric bread knife. It was at this point that we rethought the acoustical caulk. The stuff was so awful to work with, we decided to find an alternative. The whole point of acoustical caulk is to keep adjoining surfaces from rubbing together due to the vibrations caused by the sound. I'm recording voiceovers in this booth, not drums or other loud instruments. We decided we would still use it on the very ends of the 2x3s. But between the frame and the 5/8 plywood, we'd use a layer of sound barrier and moving blanket. We don't know the exact ramifications on the overall soundworthiness, but we did avoid a lot of frustration. Next, we built the sidewall with an opening for a door. We wanted the door frame to fit as tightly as possible to keep any sound from leaking in. After the frame was built and covered on one side with 5/8 plywood, the Roxul Comfort Board 80 insulation was cut to size and inserted. One layer of sound barrier was stapled on, followed by one layer of moving blanket. Finally, the 5/8 plywood was attached. Next, the roof was built in the same way as the sidewalls. Check out the blog post in the description to see the diagrams and materials list. Check out the next video to see how we built base trap end walls and assembled the booth. I set out to build a professional audio booth for voiceover recording. Before I charged my drill, I spent 2 years researching everything from the science behind audio waves to room treatments such as diffusion panels and bass traps. While this is a how-to series of sorts, I am not responsible for any injury, destruction, or loss of any kind, including monetary, that you may incur while attempting anything inspired by what you see here. By continuing to read my blog and watch the associated videos, you assume all responsibilities for your decisions and actions. I can say that we avoided serious injury despite clumsiness and extreme heavy construction materials. I am not an audio engineer nor a carpenter. I'm just a voiceover artist in pursuit of a quiet place to record audiobooks, content marketing video voiceovers, and voice tracks for radio and television advertisements. Hopefully, you can learn from my mistakes and make an even better booth than I do. If you do, let me know about it. When my design is inspired by someone else's design, I'll tell you, or make a note in the description.